You guys, we finally have our top 4. It's been 84 years, but we're there. We're getting there. We're slowly progressing to the finale, and it feels like 84 years, even though it's been a little bit more than 4 months at this point, because season 13 actually premiered on January the 1st, and by the time this video gets uploaded, it's probably going to be around the 10th of April. I'm not really sure when this video is going to get uploaded, but we're gonna be there. So in today's video, I want to talk about our top 4, and I want to talk about speculations about what's gonna actually happen in the finale. So at this point, season 13, episode 13 just finished, which was named Honey, I Shrunk the Drag Queens. And I kind of like this name and this episode in general because it's a pun, it's a play on words on Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. I believe everybody watched, and it's just the right amount of silliness that we've known to love and expect from Drag Race, and I really appreciate that because this challenge generally did make me laugh because it was so funny and so insane, and I really like that. So to quickly recap episode 13 before we jump into the rest of the video, our top 5 had to perform, or actually to star, in a sci-fi adventure Honey, I Shrunk the Drag Queens, and we had Gottmik, Kandy Muse, Rosé, Olivia Lux, and Symone, who had to pick and choose their favorite role and to basically act as a stereotype of one of the characters, and also to pick and choose the outfits that would go with their characters and to act in this acting challenge, which, as I said, it was pretty fun. It was nothing incredibly special, but it's the right amount of silly, and I approve of that completely. The acting challenge was fun. The acting was okay for the most part. I didn't really think that anybody was incredibly bad, and I didn't really think that anybody was particularly strong. They were pretty much okay, all of them. But what actually happened is that Gottmik, Rosé, and Symone received positive critiques from the judges, while Kandy Muse and Olivia Lux received negative critiques, and obviously Kandy Muse and Olivia also ended up in the bottom, where they had to lip sync to Cher's Strong Enough, which I am pretty sure that we've already heard that song on Drag Race, but I might be wrong, so please let me know in the comments if that ever happened or if this is a weird Mandela effect that I'm experiencing right now. Kandy Muse won the lip sync, rightfully so, and Olivia had to sashay away or to leave the competition, which actually left us with our top 4. This top 4 to me is pretty predictable, and not just in the way that I've heard that this is going to happen on one of the subreddits, which I think is Spoiled Drag Race, and I'm pretty sure that this top 4 was something to be expected of this season. I think that the producers set the season up so that we could have this top 4 in the end. And don't get me wrong, I do adore each one of these queens, and I think that they're rightfully in their places in the top 4, but it was a little bit predictable because we knew that there were going to be most queens from the winner's circle, which is the case in this top 4 as well. We have Kandy Muse, we have Symone, and we have Gottmik, which all were in the winner's circle, and we have Rosé, which was from the loser's circle from the first episode. Not that that matters anymore, but it's just kind of how it is. So even though this season has been pretty predictable in most cases, and even though this top 4 is something that we expected since January basically, if we look at the stats of our top 4, or the placements that each queen got over these episodes, over 13 episodes, we can see that 2 queens have better stats than the other 2. And I'm talking about Rosé and Symone, which definitely have better stats than Kandy Muse and Gottmik. So why do I think that they have a better placement? So for example, Symone has 4 wins, but at the same time, Symone was in the bottom 2 twice, while Rosé has 3 wins, and she was never really in the bottom. So I think that this makes Rosé an obvious winner when it comes to the stats themselves, to the placements, which doesn't really mean anything because, as you know, we've seen this in UK season 2. For example, Bimini and Lawrence had similar stats, but Bimini had 4 wins, Lawrence had 3 challenge wins, and even though Bimini was better when it comes to like how she did in the season, Lawrence won because Lawrence generally was considered to be more suitable for the winner, which is perfectly fine. Symone and Rose to me seem like the 2 queens that are definitely going to be fighting for the winner's spot, while we have also Gottmik and Kandy Muse. Gottmik has 2 wins. She was low once, and she never really lip-synced for her life, while Kandy Muse has 1 challenge win, but was also in the bottom 3 times. Kandy Muse's placements kind of remind me of Tace's placements in UK Season 2 because Tace also had to lip sync for like 3 or 4 times. 4 times if we're counting the finale, 3 times up to that point. And it's safe to say that Kandy Muse is probably gonna be the one to be eliminated next episode. That also depends on the format of the finale. I'm not sure how they will be filming the finale, if we're gonna get like the top 4 like in season 9, or if we're gonna have top 3, which is kind of generally the format, but sometimes they stray from that format and give us top 4 just to get us more hyped, which is also fine. But what I think will happen in the next episode is that Kandy Muse is going to sashay away if we're looking at top 3 in the finale, and we will have Gottmik, Rose, and Symone fighting for the crown. But if we get the same scenario from season 9 when nobody's gonna get eliminated next week and all 4 go straight to the finale, like in season 9, for example, one of the best like examples of this happening, where we have these top 4 queens paired up in 2 pairs, and they have to lip sync for the crown basically in like 2 rounds. So if that actually happens, I don't really see Gottmik winning a lip sync, to be honest. I mean, I love the bitch, but she's not exactly the strongest contestant when it comes to lip syncs. So in that case, I do believe that Gottmik will definitely be sashaying away or not really competing for the final lip sync for the crown. Depends on who Gottmik would be paired with, but I think that, you know, in any case, all 3 other queens, Kandy Muse, Rose, and Symone, proved to be pretty good at lip syncs. So I think that Gottmik is not really gonna win the lip sync if that happens. Also, based on these stats or placements, Kandy does have the worst track record, so it's kind of like difficult to say if she's gonna progress to the final 3 or if she's gonna be competing for the crown. I personally don't think that's gonna happen, and what I think will happen is there's gonna be a toss-up between Rose and Symone because rightfully so, Symone has 4 wins, Rose has 3 wins, but she never lip-synced for her life, and Rose is overall the best performer of this season because she was constantly either safe or high. She was actually high in like 4 episodes, which is incredible. So my prediction for the finale is that Rose and Symone will be competing for the crown. Now, we don't really know who's gonna win at this point. I haven't been spoiled yet. I might find a spoiler or 2, but I'm not gonna share it with you because I want it to be a surprise for all of us, if possible. It's probably gonna be between Rose and Symone. Based on the track record and just the overall story arc that they got throughout the season, Symone is a wonderful competitor. Symone is so fashionable. She's very high fashion. She brought like the street fashion to a very high level. And also Symone is the member of the House of Avalon, which also means that Gigi Good is her drag sister, which is absolutely amazing because Gigi is equally as strong and amazing as a competitor, and she absolutely slayed season 12, and Symone did as well. Symone was a great performer throughout the season. She did slip up twice, but she was very strong overall, and not just fashion-wise and in the challenges. Symone also had a great storyline. She also is doing so well on social media. If you haven't followed her on Twitter, please do so because she is hilarious and she is very, very good at using her platform and her voice as a Ru girl to advocate on all the issues that are important to her. And I absolutely loved Symone's runway on the Fascinating Fascinators theme, where she had this beautiful, beautiful white gown, which obviously said when she turned around, "Say their names," which is a direct reference and a very, very powerful statement about police brutality in the United States. I absolutely loved her, and I think this look is gonna go down in history as probably one of the best looks ever on Drag Race. It's incredibly important for every queen to understand how to use her social media platforms and to advocate for the right issues, and Symone did absolutely all of it and more. When it comes to Rosé, I personally did not enjoy most of Rosé's fashion on this season or runways. She did have some cool looks, but even though Rosé's fashion isn't the best ever, Rosé showed us that you can be a genuine person, you can be a perfectionist and a great performer, but also you can be a great person on the show as well. She had this amazing friendship with Denali, and she's very, very cool and nice on the season as well. And she did prove that she's an amazing actress, she's an amazing performer, she's really, really good at lip syncs. She's obviously a fantastic singer and a member of Stephanie's Child, a girl group with Jan, which is probably why they've been calling Rosé season 13 Jan, which I do agree with because I think that Rosé was kind of slept on at the very beginning of the season, and she just picked up her pace in the middle of the season. And I think it's justifiable that people are calling her Jan because at this point, Rosé is the fan favorite, which is great because I do think that for me personally, it's kind of I'm tied between either Symone or Rosé, and I would be happy if either one of them won. But what I think will happen, and for me personally, it would make sense if Symone got the crown for season 13 and if Rosé actually went on All Stars 7 or any future All Star season and absolutely slayed there as well. I mean, can you just imagine Rosé and Denali, the Rose Denali duo, being on the same season of All Stars? Because that would be some amazing TV because these two have a lot of great chemistry and I would love to see that. So for me personally, I think that Symone's probably gonna get the crown, which doesn't mean that Rosé might not snatch the crown. It's very at this point, it's getting unpredictable because these two have very similar track records in a way. So it's gonna be interesting to see who's actually gonna win. And this final part of the season is actually getting exciting for me because most of the season was kind of slower in pace, and it did kind of have some problematic things and some issues, but I continued watching because I just love Drag Race in general. So in the end, I am rooting for either Rosé and Symone, and I would be happy if either one of them won. I personally think that Symone would be a better fit for the crown at this specific point where we are in drag and just generally in the world, but Rosé might also completely surprise us and snatch the crown herself. That's it when it comes to today's video. If you like this video, please give it a like, maybe share with your friends for engagement, and subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more Drag Race content and content about pop culture in general. And until next time, take care and bye bye.